Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to make a delicious batch of thumbprint cookies. If you'd like to know how to make those, stick around and let's get started. So these little thumbprint cookies today that I'm going to be making was a viewer's request, and a viewer also shared her tips on how she enjoys making them, and I think there's a couple of different names and I'd like for you guys to share that with me as well. I think one is called Thumbprint Buns and then it's a raspberry bun, something like that. So I hope I got that right. Thank you for sharing your recipe with us. But today I'm going to do a little more closer to the way that we had them when I was a child. So if that interests you, we got a spin on both. Let's get started. Okay, so what we got here now is 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Our viewer said what she used was fast rising flour, so if that's what's in your cupboard, you could use that. Also, I'm using 1 teaspoonful of baking powder, but if you're using the fast rising flour, don't put in the baking powder. 1/2 teaspoonful of sea salt or table salt. 1/2 cup of white sugar. You can also use confectionery sugar if you wish. And I got 1/2 cup of just finely grated coconut. So now what I'm going to do is toss all of that in together. I'm also using 1/2 cup of butter. You could use margarine if that's what you got available. So just toss that in there. And now, with your clean hand, we're going to work this together. So what we're going to do here now is pinch this together. Now, if you got a KitchenAid with a hook, you can use that. So pretty much all I'm doing here now is pinching the butter, cold butter in through the flour and ingredients to make it crumbly. Also, I think that flour is called self-rising flour. I haven't quite seen it around here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and probably it is sold in different stores. But it is also, that's what our viewer said that she uses. So that's all you need to do there. So that's pretty much all you need to do with that, is just till it's crumbly. Now my Aunt Clara said that she could remember as a child making these, and they were shortbread cookies, and that's what they called the thumbprint cookies. But I can remember having them as well with coconut, and they're quite tasty as well. So now what we're going to use is 1 egg and a tablespoonful of milk. I just got the wash up. So we're going to be using 1 large egg. I'm just going to break it into my little bowl, and I'm going to mix in there with it 1 tablespoonful of milk. Just mix it together. So now we're going to toss that on into our mixture. So again, if you got a mixer now that got a hook, you can just whip this around like this until it forms a ball. And that's all you need to do there. Okay, now I'm going to take my hand and work this dough together. I'm just going to form it into a ball, and then I'll put it down on my countertop with an extra little bit of dusting of flour, and then I'll show you what I'll do with that. So after it's formed into a ball, put a dusting of flour on your board or countertop and just pop that out onto the countertop. So what we're going to do now, we're going to flatten this to about 1 to 1.5 inches thick, like this. So pretty much now I'm going to say to 1 and 1.5 inch. You can have it smaller than that. You can have it bigger than that. And then pretty much what I'm going to do is cut out about, well, 15 to 20 squares. And then I'm going to roll it into little balls. So Raymond's there laughing at me. I said 15 or 20 pieces and is exactly 20. So
I said buy a lotto ticket.
you wanted me to buy a lotto ticket. Anyway, you take one little piece, you put dust a little bit of flour because you want for it to you know, not to be too sticky, and just make them into little balls like this. We'll do all these first. I like rolling it on the board because it's a little less messy, and you know, they're quick that way. So I'm glad everyone is following along here and you're still interested to know how to make these. And if you've made these before and you want to share that with us, please do leave us a message. So what I got here now with me is a cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper in it. I find that my cooker's helper for sure. I'm going to confirm.
I thought I was your cooker's helper.
Yes, he's been really helpful because these little thumbprint cookies, they're messy if you're, you know, so you're washing your hands every few minutes. So anyway, moving onward, I'm going to put him on the tray and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so here they are now, all nicely. They're not all the same size because, of course, that's okay if they're not. And I'm not that good at making them the same size. You just use, well, actually, your thumb, because it's thumbprint. You put your thumb in the middle and make a little indent like this. So pretty much that's all you're doing there, is just making your thumbprint in the middle of the cookie. And then after, I'm going to be adding in different filling. I'm going to add in some jam. I got some chocolate. I got a little bit of cherries. So I'll show you that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in a cherry in a couple of them. And these are just little baking cherries. You can get the bottle cherries. And I cut it in half. I also got little pieces of chocolate. You can put in there a chocolate chip or a chocolate chunk. This is what's so lovely about these. Seasonal. You can have it for any occasion to fancy it up. And also, I got some blueberry jam that I'm just going to be putting a little bit in the middle. And I got some raspberry jelly that I'm going to be putting in the middle. And that's all you need to do there. And now comes the raspberry jelly. So if you want to make these bigger, and I'm thinking our viewer that shared it with us as well, they might have been a little bigger, and that's why they were called raspberry buns. So if you're watching here today, share a little bit more insight on that for us. But right now, these are the way that we enjoyed making them, because you can have them set back with a nice cup of tea and just, they're nice and delicate, eh? Good as it gets. So what I'm going to do now is preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Usually 15 minutes these are baked because I don't want them to be a golden brown. I just want some little bit of brown on the bottom and still coming out pretty light. If they are a golden brown, that's fine. They'll be a little crispier. When they are baked, I'm going to show you what they look like. And before I do that, if your butter on your cookies is a little soft, you want to put the tray in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes just to cool off that butter. Then put them in your oven on a 350 degree Fahrenheit from anywhere from 15 minutes or less. And I'll show you what they look like. Oh my goodie, it smells amazing in here. Our little thumbprint cookies are baked. Now I'm going to take them up and show you what they look like. Now just look at these delicious little thumbprint cookies. Golden brown on the bottom and light color on the top, and they smells absolutely delicious. Let them sit in your tray for maybe 2 or 3 minutes before you take them out so that they could rest. Now I'm going to have a little taste. I know Reynolds over there and he's waiting for a little taste.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yes, you know, the inside is nice and soft. Of course, the The thumbprint cookie is nice and soft all around. It's just the bottom is a golden brown. The coconut. The nice flavor. I got to have a cup of tea with this one. Absolutely delicious. I can see having some tea and sitting back with a book and enjoying these. I'm going to pass this one over to Raymond there now. Just get you to reach. There
Thank
you go.
Perfect.
I gotta feed him. I got to share that cookie with him. So you guys, if you enjoyed this recipe for the thumbprint cookies, I'm gonna leave the recipe at the bottom of this video. As well, we're going to share it with you on our website, www.bonitaskitchen.com, and as well on our Facebook page. You can also send us a message at our email, bonitakitchen@gmail.com. We won't keep you any longer. We know your time is precious and you got more things to do. From our kitchen to yours, thank you for joining us here today, and you have a wonderful day.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours, Bonita's Kitchen.